Hello Bat fans. Today we are looking at an old sports racer, a Royale RP4 clone. And I say clone because there are no identifying stamps, marks, tags, other than a CASC logbook and ID plate. According to the logbook, the last time the car was raced was September of 1983. The car's been sitting in garages most of its life. I got this kind of in basket case form. I brought it to my garage, stripped it, media blasted the frame, repaired a couple of sketchy brazes, primed the chassis, then pre-assembled the car to determine completedness. And that is exactly where and how the car stands right now. Let's go over the bodywork. I really wanted to spray the car one color just for presentation, but whenever I'm purchasing a car, I would much rather know exactly what I'm getting. So I just left it. So here you have it, warts and all. The rear clamshell probably needs the most work. There's a big hump right here, which is not standard to Royale. I'm pretty sure it's there to clear a Mitsubishi 4G32 motor that sits in it right now. That motor is rebuilt years ago. I would never trust an unknown rebuild, so I would strongly suggest going through that. And that being said, I did pull the pan and plastic gauge it. Well, rods and mains, just to get a sense of comfort. But anyways, you can see those in the photos. The rear clamshell, when they put that hump on, they didn't really pay attention to the sides of the clamshell. So, there are some major gaps there. The front fits much better. The body mount frames were missing, so I fabricated those. The front one, I mounted it with heim joints, so it's infinitely adjustable, which is kind of nice. What else? And I'm not sure why this why this chunk of cowling is missing here, but I guess that's going to be a mystery of a 50-year-old race car. The rear subframes still need a little bit of work. Once the body is sort of massaged and fit properly, I would stick another strut from here up to this little mounting flange right here, just to triangulate both sides and tie it all together and locate it. Doors are only clecoed in at the moment. That would be one of the last things you would do to try and get some semblance of panel fit. Oh, and fuel. This thing is pretty much a rolling fuel tank. It was raced in an endurance series last. You can see the filler cap over there. There's a fuel tank running along inside that pod. Inside the left pod, and behind the seat here underneath that panel. The fuel tanks are built well. They're all aluminum. They're foam filled. A good venting system. The only thing I don't like is they are all connected with 2-inch hose. So if that ever let go, there would be a lot of fuel spewing in a lot of different places. So I would strongly recommend to lose the aluminum tanks and put in a proper bladder type fuel cell with smaller fittings. That way both you and I can sleep better at night. Our lovely hot pink wheels are Magnesium Revolutions, I'm pretty sure. The rear one has the worst corrosion, not too bad. But the rubber is fantastic. It's super cool old Yokohama A008s. I'm not sure if anybody remembers those, but they were just a pretty sticky tire for the day. And they're in mint condition. If you could probably sell those to somebody for static display for their 80s Japanese hot rod, who knows. And the hot pink. Apparently the plan was to paint the car a dark purple with hot pink highlights, and the highlights includes the wheels, the shocks, and the engine block. And I'm sure if this thing had a diff cover, they would probably paint the diff cover pink as well. But thankfully it doesn't. It has a sexy little Hewland Mark 8 in it. Look at that. All right, I think that's about it for an external overview. I'm going to pull the bodywork off so we can take a look at the guts.